I have to do a much better job of getting ourselves ready to go here. We're better than that. I apologize to Raider Nation for that performance.
So after the worst loss of the season yesterday to the Saints 24-0, our head coach Josh McDaniels actually apologizes to the Raider Nation, and at this point we really don't want to hear it because we expect a lot more from this team. We expect more from our coach, we expect more from our quarterback, the offense, the defense, this whole team in general, because we had so much expectations coming into this season. There was some news that came out while I was recording this video. Mark Davis has come forward and said that Josh McDaniels will be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders for years to come. At this point, we were all tired of hearing, the generic 2K answers like, oh, this is on me. We got to be better out there. Sorry to the Raider Nation. We don't want to hear that shit. We want to see that shit on the field. We want to see this team go out there and prove the whole NFL that we're here to stay. But man, so far this season, through 8 weeks, being 2-5 right now, nobody, trust me, nobody in the Raider Nation thought we would be 2-5 right now at all, especially playing a team like we did yesterday with the Saints, who's coached by Dennis Allen, by far one of the worst coaches in the NFL, but somehow, some way, he figured out a way to outcoach Josh McDaniels, and the Saints almost looked like a contending team with Andy Dalton at quarterback. We made them look like that, and Alvin Kamara, a guy, like I said yesterday, who didn't have any touchdowns going into the game, had 3 touchdowns against us, and it seemed like the Saints weren't really scared of us. I mean, I don't think any team is scared of us. I thought that the worst loss that we had this season was going to be against the Arizona Cardinals when we were up 20-0, but they came out at half and they weren't even scared to come back in that game and win that game against us. But the biggest thing for us is the fact that this team, this Las Vegas Raiders team, does not have an identity. Offensively, we have no identity. Derek Carr doesn't really look good out there at all. He's looking like he's having the worst season of his career. Also, the defense looks much worse than last year, especially after this last game against the Saints, who I thought we were going to get some turnovers. I thought we were going to get to Andy Dalton, but my goodness, this defense was horrible out there. Patrick Graham coming over here from New York, I had a lot of expectations for him, but so far this season, this defense has been looking trash. Now, I've given them the benefit of the doubt throughout many games because most of those games when we need them to give the ball back to the offense, they do exactly that. So that's the main reason why I haven't gotten on them too much. But in this last game, man, it just seemed like they did not show up. Like they all stayed in Las Vegas for some reason, None of them traveled. Now, another quote that I seen floating around after the press conferences yesterday was from our quarterback Derek Carr, basically reiterating what I had to say after the game yesterday, that this team is way too talented to be throwing up 0 points. With a group of guys that we have on the team right now, there is no reason why we can't be successful right now.
That's just embarrassing. We can't have that. That right there is embarrassing, and that should never happen, especially with the group of guys in that locker room. We got to take a look at ourselves, though, and really check and see how we want to go into this next game.
Yeah, Derek, it's really embarrassing. And the sad thing about it all, he's the guy that's at the top right now. He's the quarterback. He's the leader of this team, even though I don't expect much out of him because I feel like he's slowly declining. And I don't even know at this point if he's going to be that guy to take us to the promised land. And whether you hate what I have to say right now or not, it's just how I feel, and that's just my opinion. At this point, we've given this guy so much. We've changed so much things around him, and still we come to the same exact thing. It's playoff at best. And right now, so far this season, it doesn't even seem like we're going to be in the playoffs. But I know that the season can always turn around because we've seen it done before last year. I just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel with Derek Carr at quarterback. Whether or not you believe it's Josh McDaniels holding us back or Derek Carr holding us back, this offensive line holding us back, or the defense, at the end of the day, this team as a whole did not show up against the Saints. So if you want to point the fingers at anybody, man, I will point it at this whole team. But I hold our quarterback and our head coach higher than everybody else because those are the guys that we go to when we want to win games. So again, with that said, I came across one more clip that I'm going to show you guys from Adam Sheen of Mad Dog Radio, where he basically just put it out there. The Raiders had the worst NFL performance of the 2022 season, and I don't think he's wrong at all. The fact that we threw up 0 points against a struggling New Orleans team is unacceptable, especially with all the weapons that we have, especially with the quarterback that we have, with the head coach that we have. There should be no reason why we should be going to New Orleans and just stinking up the whole joint.
That was absolutely the worst performance of any NFL team in 2022. Josh McDaniels is a failure in every possible way. Josh McDaniels might be one and done. We talk about the Sean Payton sweepstakes. I will officially include the Vegas Raiders.
Now, I did have a moment to think about everything that has transpired this year, especially with Josh McDaniels taking over as our head coach. And I know throughout the season, throughout the losses, I've always kind of stuck with Josh McDaniels because it is his first year, and I'm not expecting him to change the whole organization. There is going to be some bumps in the road, especially as a first-time head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. But after watching this last game and kind of like taking a step back and looking at the whole picture, this team just looks bad out there, man. And I know there's a name that's been floating around the Raider Nation, Sean Payton. So, I mean, I don't know. Sean Payton definitely is a great coach. If the Raiders were to get him, great. I just don't see that happening, Unless it happens, then you know what? I agree with it. I feel like that's something that's just really, really far-fetched. And at the end of the day, do the Raiders cut ties with Josh McDaniels and keep Derek Carr? Or do we just cut ties with both of these guys? I just know for a fact that Mark Davis is pissed off with the type of production that we've been putting on the field. And Josh McDaniels definitely is not off the hook. The fact that we weren't able to get past the 50-yard line until the fourth quarter yesterday is crazy. But then again, one thing that I did bring up yesterday was the fact that we put in Jarrett Stidham at the end of the game, and he was able to drive down the field with Jarrett Stidham. So I don't know whether it's just Derek Carr or not. I know a lot of people just say, the defense was vanilla out there at the end of the game. That's the reason why Jarrett Stidham was able to drive down the field. But you got to think about it like this. The Saints definitely did not want us to score any points in that game. They wanted to keep that big fat zero next to our name. And I mean, they did that. But that just means that they were trying on defense. And Jarrett Stidham was still out there slinging the rock, driving down the field, getting past the 50-yard line. I don't know if we would have won with Jarrett Stidham. I'm just saying that the offense looked a little bit better. Even with a suspect offensive line, he was able to drive down the field. We just didn't have enough time.
Just so we're clear, because you guys know that I love Derek Carr, this is the worst season of Derek Carr's life. Derek Carr deserves all sorts of criticism. I thought he was going to throw for 5,000 yards, 4,000 yards. Derek Carr is awful. What did he throw for 100 yards yesterday?
Now, after hearing that, my honest question to you guys, Raider Nation, is Derek Carr the answer for the Las Vegas Raiders? I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback. And honestly, a lot of people are going to say, yo, if Derek Carr wins somewhere else and he wins, you're going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad. I've said this over and over and over again. I feel like Derek Carr would do much better on a different team. And a lot of people out there saying that Derek Carr is not going to play for anybody else. He's going to retire as a Raider. That's bullshit. Derek Carr's going to play no matter what. As long as he wants to play the game of football, he's going to play the game of football no matter where he's playing at. I just honestly feel like he's not the guy that's going to win us a Super Bowl. I feel like we had a lot of good memories, a lot of bad memories with Derek Carr, and he's had his highs and his lows. But at the end of the day, I just don't feel like he's the answer for this team. But if the team does want to cut ties with Josh McDaniels, then fine. The biggest question is going to be whether or not they keep Derek Carr around for the long haul, or should they?
They fired Rich Bisaccia, said, thanks for the memories. We're going to do better. So they bring in McDaniels and they bring in Adams. This team is an embarrassment.
Now, another question that I got out of, this excerpt was whether or not the Raiders should have kept Rich Bisaccia as our head coach instead of going out and getting a guy like Josh McDaniels. In my opinion, I don't think they should have. Rich Bisaccia was a nice guy and all of that, but he didn't really have a playbook. He wasn't really a head coach. He was a special teams coach that was basically using John Gruden's playbook. Whether or not that would have worked out for a whole season, I know that this team would have played for that guy. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong in this. Maybe Rich Bisaccia would have been a better head coach for this team. But then again, we wouldn't have Devontae Adams if it wasn't for Josh McDaniels. I don't know, man. I thought that us going out and getting a guy like Devontae Adams would have solved a lot of things for this team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And even replacing Yannick Ngakoue with a guy like Chandler Jones, I thought that was a good move as well. But it's slowly looking like that was a waste of a trade. I mean, Rocky Ya-Sin was a solid player that we got in that trade, so I mean, it is what it is. But overall, man, something has got to change with this team. I don't want to hear no apologies from Josh McDaniels. I don't want to hear Derek Carr say, put that on me, because we've heard that for the past 9 years. Something has got to change, in whether or not it's going to be Mark Davis to make the big time move, I don't know. At the end of the day, us as fans just want this team to win and find a way to win. All right, Raider Nation, with all that being said, there was some news that came out while I was recording this video. Mark Davis has come forward and said that Josh McDaniels will be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders for years to come, and the Raiders are still going to stick to the 2-year plan that they have for Josh McDaniels. Whether or not that is capped, do you guys still feel like Mark Davis and the Raiders organization is still going to stick with this team if we continue to lose like this? And also, what do you guys think the future for Derek Carr will be in the silver and black? Should the Raiders cut cut ties with them after the season or not? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. With that said, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also, if this is the very first time you're coming across my channel and you love the Las Vegas Raiders, then hit that subscribe button and hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. We are almost to 40,000 subscribers, so help and ooze out. With that being said, until the next video, this your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is
Started off in Oakland, now we here. Thought that we was done, we just hit another gear. Look, started off in Oakland, now we here. Hey, pull up with the nation in the silver black gear. Look, 4 games straight, we in the playoffs. Shout out to the Chargers fans, y'all enjoy